Hey, welcome back, to another video. As the new month comes, there must be new changes. I have covered the first part of the changes, such as the graphics and all of that, but in this video we'll cover about the buffs and nerfs that's come to the game, so you'll know what vehicles you should play much more in this month. So, grab a drink and let's get started. Unit changes: reworked all howitzer and rocket artillery, changing route trajectories, velocities, and guided projectile behavior. So basically, they are reworking on these things and make it more realistic. That's it. Next is the most important. Improved guided bomb launch behavior. Bombs can now be launched only within the defined cone of your direction of travel. Each bomb has its own seeker or launch parameters define this cone. So basically all the bombs that can be fired in 360 degree, now it's not like that, such as the GBU-31 and the paveway. Before, you can fire behind you. Right now only if the target is in front of you. Next, fixed a number of Russian round and projectile names, such as 3BK12 instead of ZBK12. They are just changing the name, nothing affected. The most important one is the improved guided bomb launch behavior. This is really a big nerf for these bombs, such as the GBU-31 and the paveway, and I think also the FT3. These bombs right now will not be fired if you pass the enemy. It will be fired only if the target is in front of you. This is a big nerf for these types of bombs. So let's start with the buffs. A-10A, the American Tier 3 jet, got improved overall aircraft and cockpit armor, added the AGM-12 bullpup air-to-ground missiles, improved aircraft maneuverability, increased base health points to 27,600 and maximum ordnance weight to 6,200 kilograms. Changed the hardpoints type and their compatibility with different armaments. They didn't mention how much maneuverability has been added to the jet. I think it was like 34, 35, but I didn't check it out how much right now. The jet is very slow and they didn't buff the speed of it, and that is the problem of the jet. So I'm not pretty sure if it's gonna make it relevant and much more compatible in the same tier of the jets. So I'm not pretty sure, but I hope it's become much more relevant. Now let's move to the next. PTL-02, the Chinese tank destroyer, increased the upper and lower glacial armor thickness to 12 mm and 20 mm respectively. Changed armor type to hardened rolled homogeneous, so it got a little bit of more armor buff. That's really nice. It's a little bit, but still that's really good. The type of the armor, it doesn't really matter a lot, so it's just normal things. Let's move on. WZ-120C Tier 1 tank, top mounted machine gun maximum angles changed to -10 and +75 degrees. I don't know what is the basic stat it was, and I cannot find these stats because it's only for the machine gun that is on the top of the tank. But from these stats, I'm pretty sure it's a buff because it's a really great stats. Now let's move on to the next. FK-2000, the Tier 4 Chinese anti-aircraft. Base health 31,100, now become 35,000. Turret reverse speed 60 degree, now become 75 degrees. Air target detection, targeting range 1,600 meter, becomes 2,000 meters. Improved missile interception speed and behavior. Kashtan M 30 meters range 1,000 it was, now become 1,500 meters. So overall it's a great buff for the vehicle. Now I got these anti-aircraft after I spent like 20 keys. So after I spent like 10 by 10 and I got it, and I was lucky enough to get the vehicle, so I will review it with you guys in the next video. And man, it's a really impressive, really strong vehicle, really amazing anti-aircraft. So let's move on next. Type 16 MCV, the vehicle that we got it in the previous battle pass for free. Base health 31,200, right now become 33,000. Reload speed instead of 4 seconds, now it is 3.8 seconds. Maximum gun angles -6 plus 15 now become -7 and plus 25. Turret traverse speed 32 degrees now become 42 degrees. Reverse speed 36 km per hour right now 46 km per hour. Ammo rack detonation chances 40% right now 20%. Fuel and power pack fire chance instead of 20% right now only 50%. And main armor type change from rolled homogeneous to rolled homogeneous HH. Composed armor thickness, only composed armor thickness. Turret 25mm become 35mm. Whole armor 35mm right now 50mm. Added the 50% damage reduction modify for the hull due to the hollow structures. So overall it's a really great buff, and the most important one, it is the 50% damage reduction. So all the damage else it will make it halved, so the tank will sustain much more in the battlefield. And the armor, it's been buffed, it's not so much, but it's just okay. At least you will bounce the machine gun from all the tanks. I mean, there is so many tanks that has 30mm machine gun, so that's really nice add to the vehicle. And also the reload become much more faster, 3.8 instead of 4 seconds. So overall it's really great and make it more relevant to be used. Right now I have it in the hangar, but I never use it and I didn't spend any upgrade on it. Right now I will consider it, and I think you should consider that too. PL01, the Polish Tier 4 tank. Base health 35,700 right now become 36,100. Reload speed 6.2 seconds right now 4.6 seconds. Reverse speed 25 km per hour right now 45 km per hour. Lower gliss armor 35mm right now it is 120mm. Side armor 30mm right now become 50mm. Turret armor 320mm right now 420mm. Mental armor instead of 350mm right now 400mm. Concealment instead of 10% right now 20%. Ammo rack no longer detonation but rather burns out. Reduce vulnerability to HE rounds. So this tank will no longer be ammo racked at all. There is no way to be ammo racked. It will only be damaged and will not be allowed to fire. And also they are reducing the damage that been received by the HE rounds. So this is really great. And the concealment, it will be much more. It will have about 20% concealment. This is really great news about the vehicle, and overall you see much more armor. So it will make it really relevant, and I'm pretty sure that we will see more of the PLO on the battlefield. T20 Monolith. Base health 38,300. Right now it will become 39,400. Reverse speed 25 km. Right now it's 50 km per hour. Upper glister armor rolled homogeneous 120mm. In composed it becomes changed to composed armor 630mm. Lower glister armor rolled homogeneous 80mm. Right now it's become composed armor and it is 280mm. Side armor from 70 to become 90mm. Side armor added extra 100mm of composed protection, so it has extra 100 armor millimeter on the sides. Turret armor 350 now become 450. Mincelet armor 200mm right now become 350mm. Rear armor 30mm right now become 60mm of armor. Well, that's not all. Also, ammo rack detonation chance was 40%. Right now it's only 10%. Fuel and power pack fire chance was 40%. Right now it's only 25%. Ammo rack size reduced. And so the ammo rack will be less likely to be the tank be ammo racked, and also less likely to be catch on fire. And also the ammo rack size has been changed to become much more smaller. That is really great. All the changes on the monolith will make it a beast of a tank. this vehicle will be really strong in this patch or this update. Monolith is one of the best vehicle in this update. T-14-152, the T4 Russian tank. The changes are on the ammunition it has. The first ammunition it has, the base damage instead of 10,250 become 10,600. Explosion damage instead of 8,200, 8,480. Blast radius instead of 29 meters, right now it's less, 15.5 meters. Model damage instead of 1,540, 1,060. So it's a little bit of buff and nerf. The second type of the ammunition, base damage 11,500, right now 15,580. Model damage 3,450, right now 3,900. Critical damage chance instead of 0%, it is 20%. And the third type of the ammunition, Griffel or whatever, Griffel 2, base damage 14,375, right now it's 16,710. Explosion damage instead of 5,031, 5,850. Now the last type of the ammunition, Griffel 3, base damage 13,750. Instead of that, we will have 16,100. Module damage 4,130. Now we have 4,030. Critical damage chance instead of 0%, right now it has 20%. Main gun reload speed 8.4 seconds, right now 6.5. And increased main gun accuracy and reduce on the movement dispersion, moving the tank, transferring the turret. You know, when you move the tank, the dispersion become bigger, or when you are using the turret, you're moving the turret, will become the dispersion bigger. Right now it's been reduced, so it will be much more accurate, and they increase the accuracy of the gun itself overall. And also the critical chances, I have talked about that, how the mechanics of the critical, it is basically instead of you're doing 100% damage, we will do 150. So half of the original damage will be added to the critical damage. That is how the critical damage say. Let's say if the damage of the shell is making 10,000, you will make 15,000, and increasing the chances is the really great thing about the vehicle and the buff for the vehicle. So right now T14 will become really strong in this update also. Next is the amphibious T104 Bastion. Griffel 1 base damage instead of 11,500, right now become 15,580. Model damage 3,450 become 3,900. Critical damage chance, it was 0%, right now it is 20%. Griffel 2 base damage instead of 14,375, it is 16,710. Explosion damage 5,031, right now it is 5,850. Model damage 5,750, it's become 5,600. Armor penetration instead of 650 millimeter, it is 900 millimeter. Griffel 3 base damage 13,750, it becomes 16,100. Module damage 4,130, it becomes 4,030. Critical damage chance instead of 0%, right now it's 20%. Lower glacial armor instead of 480 millimeter, it is 380 millimeter. So they basically buffed the base damage and the explosion damage, but they nerfed the module damage and also the lower glacial armor of the tanks. So 100 millimeter is really effective, to be honest, but I don't know, do you find that there is a buff or a nerf? For me, I put it as a buff because I think getting extra damage is really important, even in trade of the armor. I mean, 100 millimeter is also effective, but at least you get 20% more chances of critical damage. That's pretty nice. T95M, the tank that you can get at the maximum level. Griffel 1 ammunition, base damage 11,500. Instead of that, we will have 15,580. Module damage 3,450. It has become 3,900. critical damage chance instead of 0%, right now it's 20%. Griffle 2 base damage 14,375, it is right now 16,710. Explosion damage instead of 5,031, it is 5,850. Model damage 5,750, it is right now 5,600. Armor penetration instead of 650 millimeter, it is now 900 millimeter. That is for Griffle 2. Griffle 3 base damage 13,750, it become 16,100. Model damage instead of 4,130, it is 4,030. And also critical damage instead of critical damage chance instead of 0%, it is 20%. So overall it's more like a buff that will make the tank much more stronger and powerful and impactful. That is what I think. So let's move on. 2S1 Gvostika main gun reload speed 10.4 seconds. Instead of that we will have 10 seconds. Next tank, it is type 83 SPH, main gun reload speed 14.2 seconds. Right now it is only 14 seconds. Next we have the multi-rocket launcher M270 MLRS 227 millimeter. It is the 6 missiles that we have. Reload speed instead of 15 seconds, it's only 10 seconds. And MLRS Atacams 610, and that is the big missile that it has. Instead of reload 30 seconds, it become 20 seconds. So overall, all of these tanks got a reload buff. But the most important, it is for MLRS. It got the biggest cake, so it become much more faster at reloading. M109 main gun reload 15.5 seconds, it become 15 seconds. Also the artillery at tier 2 M109 got a buff for the reload speed. Now for the last buff in our video, SR5 GMLRS, the type of missile that is 122 millimeter. Reload speed instead of 15 seconds, it become 10 seconds. And also the missiles that is 220 millimeter. Reload speed instead of 25 seconds, it become 15 seconds. So also got a really nice buff for the reload speed. And so this is all the buffs for all the vehicles. Right now we will move on to the nerfs of all the vehicles. First tank on our nerf list, it is TOS 1A. Targeting speed halved and dispersion doubled, so it will become much more inaccurate. Delay between rounds fired 1.2 seconds, instead of that it is 1.5 seconds, so it will be less likely to fire rapidly. Next we have XM 2001 Crusader, main gun reload speed instead of 7 seconds, it is 12 seconds. That is will be really killing the tank. Next we have the M10A2, the Japanese artillery at tier 3. Main gun reload speed 12 seconds, right now it is 14 seconds. So all of these artillery and rocket launcher got a nerf. Let's keep continuing. Now the last nerf is on the Leclerc S2 Azure. This type of ammunition that named OFL 120 F1. Armor penetration instead of 700 millimeter, it becomes 675 millimeter. So it's a little bit, 25 millimeter, it's not a big deal, but that is only the nerf on the Leclerc. That is all the nerfs in this update. So guys, tell me in the comments, what do you think about the update? So many buffs, a little bit of nerf. But for me, I'm pretty glad about the TOS that got a nerf. That is really great news for me. That menace was just give me nightmares in the game. I cannot enjoy the game. This was really difficult to destroy it unless I use a jet to put it in a place. So what do you think about the update? Is it good, bad? What surprised you? I'm not pretty sure about the pilot players, because right now the bombs are not anymore 360 degrees. You cannot fire it anytime you want. But for me, it's okay. Lately I've been using only Storm Shadow. That is, little bit of fireworks, and also I'm using the AKF 98 that is on the J20 and also on J16, the Chinese jets. So for me, it's not a big deal, but it's still the bombs that are silent, still silent. Only you cannot fire it anytime you want. I mean, after you pass the target, you cannot fire it and all of that. So this is all I have right now. If you reach this point, please consider to like and subscribe. I didn't ask the whole video, so you can right now at least thank by pressing like and subscribing to the channel. Hope you enjoy, guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.